What is up, friends? Welcome to the garden. I've been meaning for weeks now to give you an update on my tree collard pruning project. I have several, you already know if you follow me at all, but I have several tree collards. Here's two purple variety, and there in other parts of the garden is a few more purple variety of different stages of having been pruned. In a minute, I'll take you out and show you the green ones that are also looking fabulous from their makeover of the pruning process. But I wanted to just say that, I haven't actually been harvesting leaves from these two. I'm letting them just bounce back. But what I can insert some pictures of is that I prune them in slightly different ways, and trying to get a test of like the best system. In an ideal world, I don't think I would prune them all like at once. I think I would sort of just keep them more manageable, and rather than harvesting individual leaves, maybe cut back segments of stalk so that you're constantly giving them this like pruning back process so they don't get as strung out as they were by the time I pruned them, which was leading to just really not the most choice leaf production, which is what I'm growing them for. And that's also a sign that they're just not as happy and healthy a plant. In the meantime, I'll show you that I have a whole little, a whole little nursery going of the cuttings that I've taken from this massive pruning process and project. I got a lot. And now I just need to find homes for those, which will be no small feat, but if you're interested, please spread the word. In the meantime, though, I will say that the pruning project has been a massive success. These leaves already look so good compared to how they did before I pruned the tree. They were previously turning yellow and sort of burnt, and they were mildewish very quickly. The plant just was struggling. And now, although there's lots of little leaves along here, and I probably should help the plant consolidate now and trim those off and help it encourage it to grow just like full-size leaves, which those will become. I'm, gonna let this be a rolling experiment, and I'm gonna see what happens from just one set of pruning, because I might actually get full-size leaves down the length of the stalks, for lack of a better word to call them. Maybe down the main stalks, maybe down sort of the sub branches. I don't know, but I want to give it a chance to ride out the experiment before I meddle with it further. In the meantime, I did a few other versions of this cutting. Sometimes like on those two, for example, I cut all the branches at once and just harvested them all. And that's fine in terms of making use. There was actually not that many desirable leaves, sadly, on those full plants because of everything I just told you. So it was, no food was wasted, please believe. And then on others, like this one, I had actually done it in stages, wondering if maybe leaving some leaves would help the plant bounce back more quickly. I didn't find it to make a major difference, to be honest. The plant, they did just fine shooting out leaves basically as quickly as I could cut them. So yeah, I don't think it made a major difference, and I don't so far see a benefit in having left the smaller, thinner stems. Like this one, you can see I also cut it back to its main stalks, rather than this one, for example, that I've left. There's some bamboo in there confusing the image, but some main stalks and some like sub stalks, if you can see that. There's some thinner ramas. I don't know what to call, I think it's stems. I don't know what to call that. Branches. There we go. Anyway, hopefully they will all respond, and either way, I'm really excited with the quality of the leaf growth. They are delectable at this point. Final thing, well, actually, before final, is the green tree collards, which are really, really cool, and I don't think I've focused on them as much. Last year they just weren't, they grow just, their leaves get crazy, like dinosaur, prehistoric plant looking leaves. And they're delicious. They're actually, if you wanted an honest opinion, I think a lot of people might prefer the taste of the green collards, because even though they got bigger, they are a little bit more tender than the red tree collard leaves when they're full grown. But in any case, they're all delicious and all extremely versatile, whether you want to make kale chips with the ones that are kind of overgrown and mature, stir fry, salad, wraps. I'm telling you, that's why I created that whole little nursery of baby ones, because everyone that's trying to grow their own food should have a tree collard. If your climate will sustain it, and everyone in California, that's you. Like, unless your climate is pretty extreme, and there are varieties that you could have elsewhere. I just don't have those personally. So finally, I just want to show you this tree. I have to insert a picture. It was, you know, just getting to be crazy. It's too tall. I can't even reach the top of that to clip those leaves that are covered in mildew, and you can see they're old and with their mildew spots. But I've done a different process with this one. This one's kind of my special baby, so she got some special treatment. Just because it's such a massive tree. Anyway, this tree, literally, just to put it in perspective, this plant I got as a start. This one is actually not from a start. This is from a nursery, but it was just a little cup. Like, it was literally like, just like one of those, but actually smaller. And I believe it was grown from seed, from Annie's Annual Nursery in Richmond, California. The rest of them are from cuttings that I got from Project Tree Collard. Cuttings just like the ones I've taken and in my massive nursery experiment. So this plant was in a 4x4 little container, like not last, oh, sorry, I might have done something to my camera, about a year and a half ago, the beginning of last growing season. And I had no idea it was going to turn into this, you know, incredible sprawling tree in that amount of time. I knew they could get pretty big. I did not have any sense of the rate of growth. And now I'm going to take better care of it to keep it, you know, help it manage its resources better. So we both win, and it's not just sprawling out of control, and I get higher quality food from it. So one of the things I just wanted to mention, because I did do this sort of on a branch by branch process. I'm so sorry, guys. My throat is polleny. But I just want to say, I first cut off the most piddly branches. There's actually one that's kind of hanging there. It looks like I missed, right? So first I trimmed all of the kind of purposeless branches, the ones that are just sapping energy. That's really the idea, is you know, stem the energy waste. So I cut off all the littlest branches, and this side branch, for example, on the main stem, that's gonna go. Like, I'm just gonna completely cut that off at the base, and then I'm gonna cut the base back, the central stem back to the same height as I've trimmed these. But I cut all of the smallest ones, and then little by little, I've just been going around like a carousel and trimming the sub branches. But what I will say is, you know, there was sort of, this has been over a several week process, and the leaf quality of the sub branches, so I'm focusing, for example, on a sub branch right now, the leaf quality that I'm eating from those sub branches is already improving from having cut the other ones. So whereas all summer long, and again, all summer, quote unquote, like, it's just been the same temperature here, like nothing changes. It's not like there's been a temperature or climactic change that I think this can be attributed to. Maybe this plant knows something I don't, but, well, that's very possible. But I think it's mostly from the plant just having resources alleviated that it can dedicate to higher quality leaf growth. And so the leaves I'm getting off of here are softer and more tender, more flavorful, less mildewed, and less pests, honestly. There's like no aphids on them. So all those things combined just let me believe that the pruning process itself is really worthwhile. Guys, I'm so sorry about my throat. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to taking off the rest, alleviating this plant of the rest of her branches, now that I'm fully convinced that this is the best thing I can be doing for the plant. I'm not worried that I'm hurting it. Certainly not, based on the way the sibling plants are looking. This little green tree color that I think you can see. Try not to walk through a spider web. I mean, just look at her. Look at the growth. There's no mildew or aphids on those leaves, and there was for months. That cabbage looper moth, the little white moth that you're seeing, is definitely in there trying to do some damage, looking to lay eggs that will form little caterpillars that'll decimate the plant. It's totally got that up its sleeve. But I will treat that. I have treated, and I will treat my brassicas, my most important brassicas anyway, with BT, which I can link to make sure that I get to harvest something and I'm not just taken out by the caterpillars. My food supply isn't taken out by the hungry caterpillars. All right, guys, there you have it. I hope this has been fun. If you're interested in tree collards, green or red, I have mostly red or purple, whichever you want to call it, please let me know, because I'd love to set you up with one of these. I cannot tell you how rewarding it is to have them in my garden.